Wow. My name is Jessica Holyfield, and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are going to be taking a look at BADTITUDE by BADVILLAIN. This is the second part of their debut that they had. I've already looked at BADVILLAIN's track, BADVILLAIN. I've physically done it, and I'm still sore from it, so I'm excited to take a watch here. It's going to be really enjoyable. I haven't really heard this track like I was hearing of BADVILLAIN up until I did an analysis of it, so I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So let's go ahead and check it out. Cute. This one already feels a little bit simpler in the styles that they're going for. More new school, old school integration with some of their grooves. Nice. I think they shot this in the same session that they did BADVILLAIN, isn't it? Yeah. Wow. Nice. It gives a low-key Pussycat Dolls track vibe, doesn't it? Ah, that part. Hey. Ooh. That was a fun ripple. Okay, we're here for it. That was a great usage of levels. Love hearing them here. Wow. This takes a lot more energy than you think it does. Goodness. Cool. That's cool. Super dope. Now, I don't know who the leader is in this. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's another girl here. Her name's Chloe Young, right? Who is she in this? I have a feeling, is it my girl right here? Maybe? Is that Chloe Young? Or is that Chloe Young? Is that Chloe Young? I don't know. I'm going to guess her today. I could be so wrong, but I digress. I feel, you know who gives leader energy is my girl right here. And I think it's because of her outfit. Not gonna lie. It reminds me of like Lee Hyori, right? From like the early 2000s K-pop scene. Like she's giving that energy for me, which is why it kind of feels like there's that sense of maturity, of nostalgia about it. So that's who my guess is of who the leader is. You guys let me know if I'm right. If I am, we could chalk it up to maybe it's her placement in the choreography where it subconsciously comes across that way. Because sometimes it is the case. Or it could just be literally her fit. She's the only one in a hat, so she sticks out in that way too. I don't know. But this was really nice. Out of the two, I do think texture-wise, the first one, BADVILLAIN, was more difficult in texture justification because you were integrating like more feminine, a feminine pocket and switching to an Afro pocket. Those are so different, which is super cool that BADVILLAIN was structured that way. In this case, it's a little bit more it's just pop, lock it, drop it is really what it's giving for me. It gives that 2000s, we hanging out on the block, living our best life, mixed with Pussycat Dolls, mainstream sound. So I'm here for it. We got the music video pulled up right here. Let me see if I can get subs. We're ready. Let's go. Sheesh. Bad attitude. Wow. This is a good usage of dancers. They spare no expense on the dancers. Cool. Cool. That's tricky to do, the quickness of the switches like that on the hips. Cool keyframing. That's giving Team Bebe's crew preview from Street Woman Fighter Season 2. That mess right there did. That looked really cool with the dancers. But it worked well with just the 7 of them too. So full out. Cool. Yeah. I mean, this is in general, like, this is it's a dope track. It looks cool. I mean, like I've said too, with the usage of dancers, I think I've seen them work with dancers. All of their tracks with the exception of Hurricane. I think it's the only one they did not use dancers for. But all the other ones, they had them in some facet. So I love that we get to see them use them in that way. It definitely helps enhance certain visuals, but they held it down very well when it was just them, which is cool. Now, if I were to take a guess, my gut tells me that they spent more time cleaning Bad Villain than this one. I could be completely wrong. This one I think is harder in terms of getting everybody on the same stamina to do all of this full out. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these choices, when you do it longer than an A count, you can get tired. So I can tell with this one because it's a fixed cam. And with the music video, they had multiple takes. Yes, it can be fatiguing filming all day long, but it is different than having to do 2 minutes straight of just straight movement, right? And all these movements, you're switching between doing subtleties, speed changes, dynamic shifts, into just straight booty popping, you know, straight twerking. Like that's a lot of energy to do. It feels like a full-on sprint, and then you're like running in slow motion, but it still requires you to use the same degree of energy, but just utilize it a different way, and then you're just sprinting again. So that's more power to them to have such differences of styles presented. So they had like the femme and masculine style over here, and then they had like the straight hip-hop, just the hip-hop, booty poppin' hip-hop vibes, Pussycat Dolls vibes over here. Super fun. I also noticed that they do tend to create this circle energy with their arms. I noticed it in Hurricane, I noticed it in Bad Villain, and I'm noticing it here. I don't mind it. It could be a fun little fingerprint that they have as a group. Good chance they may have done it in Plus 82, but I mean, I digress from that. I like the little snap there. This one's way more about just presenting us. We're a girl gang. We're here living our best lives. You wish you were us. And then shout out to the football jerseys too. Definitely gives that little American flavor to it, which I love. Yeah, they feel like a dance crew to me. They don't really feel like a K-pop group, and if I'm being real, most groups kind of give off like a K-pop sense. They don't at all, which makes it really fun for me personally. It has such a Western influence on this. And yes, there's Western influence in K-pop in general, but this one feels more so than the average K-pop routine. So I'm low-key here for this. This is super cool. And they pick it up really nice, traveling it down. And of course, they have to be mindful of their formations of this too when they do travel it. The accent out, boom, nice, great usage of chest to bring it right back in. Love that choice, boom, doo-doo-doom. A lot of times people jump that and make it a little Superman action out of that. And then everyone makes their own choice. Ba-ba-da-da. Cool. Then you got Emma hanging out in the front, little dip of the hips, little snap of the hands. Cool. And then they villain, boom, over. So this is like their call, this is their like call sign, right? And what's funny is for me, this is a low-key hard sign for me to do without it looking a little bit wonky because I'm so used to separating my fingers. I'm not used to gluing them together. Like that, it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't feel normal for me. Isn't that weird? And so all of these movements, when I learned Bad Villain, the hardest part was, what is it? Da-da, da-da, da-da. Not making it here, right? And then dropping it down, not making that too separated. That was honestly the hardest thing that I had to think about. And then this part, da 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 da, not making this droop over, look like a dead bunny. But anyway, that's just fun. I like the hip, and then they cock it back. Really nice choice. And then from there, they end up doing a little body roll using the hip to help promote this trace with the Bad Villain logo on their hand. And then one of them stays up. Great way to showcase your feature. She said, come here. And they use, I think they use the hips on that. Yeah. It's cute. Oh, they use the elbow too to make the hips look more exaggerated. That was nice. Then they go Bad Villain. Ooh, you want to talk about whipping your back out like it's all these arches. Man, I'm wondering if they're ever sore or if they're ever not sore just from the fullness of this. I like that there. They go pop, pop, boom, and they go and they brush it. Somebody else is joining. I love that. Really nice usage of the chest. Boom, and of course they have to use the hips complemented as well. Hitting it through, da-da-da, and we brush it. Really nice choice out of that. We hit it through. I really like how we're using more of a, is that a rotation? Maybe. Let's look. Yeah, so do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So they're not shimmying it, they're rotating it. And you have to have some degree of isolation awareness in order to work on that speed. So they're doing a great job of really da-da-da-da-da, matching her syllables as they hit it around. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. One iana, two iana. Like, we're hitting that kind of timing. It's not one and two and, it's one iana, two iana. That's fast. Way to go. Really nice choice here. Cool. So I'm gonna assume out of my girls, this girl right here, I think that's my Chloe Young. I think that's my Emma, and then I think that's my leader. That's my guesses today. Cool. Locking that in. I like that. Boom, da da da. I really like that choice. Subtlety. And she hits attitude. And that right here does remind me of the da na 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 na. They have a lot of these little stylized flicks in this era that we're seeing. And there's that da 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 da. Immediately there's your circle. Ba da 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 da. Little shimmy, usage of the hips. Make sure your weight's in the right place for that. And this reminds me of whenever you take, there's like this black marking that you put underneath your eyes whenever you play football. There's what's the reason for that? Okay, if you wanted to know, the reason why that black kind of grease black marking underneath eyes for like lacrosse or football is there, they say it's used to help reduce glare of the sun. Now, is that scientifically proven? Jury's still out on it, but that is a thing. And I'm going to go off of they made that choice to kind of placate off of the football jerseys, but we could be wrong. That's fine. I like the choice though, nonetheless. That little, I really like how they sit in it and they create a really nice arch. The upper back is what's really in play here. They want to make sure that they have their core engaged, but they don't want to sink too far in the lumbar, which is the lower back, because these types of movements can start to strain your back long term if you're sitting in it in not the healthiest way, because your lumbar is meant for stability, not mobility. It's meant to be strong, to hold it down. The mobility happens in your thoracic, which is your upper back. So that's what I'm hoping for on that, on these speed changes. They're making sure they're engaging in the appropriate part of their back so we can see them do this for a long time. I love these flicks. These give these little petty hingy flicks. Love it. The boom, dun, boom, dun, boom, da, da, da. So I like the build up on that. Power at threes, I'm telling you, they're not doing something 3 times. They're syncopating it, they're elevating it, they're changing the level of it, but they're still hitting that same part of the music. I love it. Good job, choreographer. And hitting it here, the boom. Notice that we're letting the chest help with the sway of this hand. And then my girl, my feature, she's more rotating it in the front, and everybody's doing it nice and low. Very clear distinction between the two. Then they're scooping that foot up, boom, and then we're slowly tracing those arms up, really nice. And then we see with one of them, I think with Emma, her arms came up. You notice hers came up a little bit faster than everybody else's. So that would be, just a cleanliness thing. Observation doesn't bother me. With this group, they really give heavy performance and charisma. And that's what really carries a lot of their choreos. And for this choreo especially, you have to have it. And I think they held it down pretty well for the most part for a one take. Yeah. And then a hey, and I don't know whether they did this one first or if they did Bad Villain first, but Bad Villain takes a lot out of you the more you do it, so I get that. The meltdowns, I like that, having these mirrored opposition take place as they melt, still having your feature, and then we sit into a nice little shoulder, little bounce out of that. It goes, yeah. Then we swing it, boom, boom. For me, I'm normally used to seeing people really dig with the pelvis on that, but I like the transition. I like the throws using the back to make that nice and full. It goes, boom, nice, accenting the chest, using the wrist to rotate to make that a focal point because you have something that is happening right by that body part that's creating the speed change. Love that. And they go kick and they drop. So we've seen this kind of sumo squat drop quite frequently now. We've seen it in a lot of times. A Bad Villain, Emma featured herself with it. So me seeing them do these quick squat changes isn't as surprising, but it's still really impressive because it does require a lot of stability to switch your levels like that. It's cool. There's your feature. Boom, dun, 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 dun. I like how she's kind of just patty caking across. That looks really fun. Their speed changes are nice. So they speed change to and fro, and then they go speed change, and then speed change, boom, nice staccato out of that. Then she goes, ba, ba, really nice, and they go, brrr. That was cool. Let me see what they technically do there. Yeah, ba, 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 da, 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 nice. So all of that just rides her rhythmic pattern very well. They go, they take it through. I love the head on that. I love that, gosh. Oh my gosh, that is like, look at her line. Golly. Check mark, love it. That's freaking phenom. I love it. So cool. And then she takes it and flicks it. I love the charisma shift in the performance. We take it, we're pushing that hip in opposition. Vroom, vroom. Really nice choice. And then we go ta ta da 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 da. Now this ties into what we end up seeing a little bit later when they're actually like switching their legs on the ground on all fours. And I like the subtlety of just her squat out of this. That's so cute. Da 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 da. So they go da 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 triple, and then we drop it, the hands, but we're still doing the same legs. And then they take it middle. So they go middle, and then they hit it left, and they go. Yeah, so it goes hit and a left and a right. So they're not just hitting it in the center, boom, and they transfer the weight to add some sense of variety to it. So that's cool. And then from here, it actually helps tie into now instead of hitting it and popping it in the back, we're going to be twisting the hip flexor, boom, to really make the accents on the sides of the hips. And we're using our arms to help create a really nice moment to make that hip more exaggerated on the sides. But that's really interesting just how quick this is. Da-na-na-na, da-da-na-na-na. And then right here we go pop, pop, pop. All of this does feel a bit modified. Normally I see people get way lower and I see these arms way bigger. But because of, you know, the positioning, I'm given the assumption that this was something that was an active choice for them. They're kind of keeping it more internal for this moment because the tone in which we're hearing the vocals is not super aggressive. So you don't want like this overly extroverted movement. You want it to kind of hit and sit and ride. You don't want it to be too loud. You don't want your movement too loud over your vocals. So I understand the choice. Da, 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 da. Nice little accent once again. And then break it through. Da 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 da. And da 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 da. Really nice choice. She swings through. And then once they create it a little bit choppier is what it feels like, right? That's super cool. Then she goes da 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 da. There's your Bad Villain once again. Then we swing it, da-na-na-na-na-da. Love that little hip sway as we go and create a clump. Then we go pop, pop right by the chest, swing, swing. So having an accent of the chest works because you have a focal point that has traveled down, so we naturally will see it way faster than if our arms were still up here, right? So I love that, swinging it side. So boom, doom, doom. That part is really nice. Nice interruptions with the head, with the ISO. And they take it through, do-do-do-do. Love that. Ooh, nice, crisp. Then you have it syncopated, boom, dun, dun, da, da. It's not just the walk. Normally you would see people just walk, da, 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 and they would hit the snaps. You wouldn't see people syncopate with the ISO. That kind of stuff's really fun and makes us stand out in a great way. Then everyone's in different positions. She has Bad Villain, her arms up, everybody else is here, and then you have this every other take place. Boom, boom. I really love that, creating that level. And then she goes, she's the only one that's facing the opposite way, very clear, but still complementary to what everybody else is doing, where they go pop, pop, down, lower, love the commitment to the back, but she's still my feature. And then she ties very easily back in. There's your ripple, love it with the hair. We got love a good hairography. She goes Bad Villain. We love it. We're here. She hits it, boom, boom, and then we boom, dun, 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 with the head. Ooh, ooh, I'm sore. But I love the tilt though over. Notice it's a little like figure 8 that's happening, and then they're grabbing and they're dropping a little bit lower. Another fun creative way to use your levels. And there's your moment, boom. I really like that choice. That looks great. Then she hits it, boom, boom, nice with the hip accents. It matches a lot of these types of staccato choices that we're hitting all throughout in our isos in our chest and our body. Really nice. And then they go Bad Villain. This reminds me a little bit of their very beginning of Bad Villain, which is cool. You go, very nice, cool. Then it goes, you know what this also reminds me of? Some of you may be like, Jess, you guys know The Grinch That Stole Christmas? It's the new version. There's a song, it's You're a Mean One, You Really Are an Eel. Like that track, that's what this reminds me of, is the new Grinch That Stole Christmas, You're a Mean One track from the movie. Go be curious about that. It's exactly what this sounds like to me, this part at least. I just think that's fun. That's fun. And I love the pop-ups really quick. And then it goes right here. They take the hand, really nice, propped up. Nice little head ISO, looking good. And it goes, yeah. And this part, like I said, doesn't look awkward. I think they had to modify the timing ever so slightly because they don't have the dancers to fill up the time. So they had to slow it down a smidge, but it looks great. And then right here, or maybe they didn't, because there was just a couple counts where they were all doing the same thing. So maybe they didn't modify the timing. They committed and sold it to where it didn't feel out of pocket at all. Now this right here, you have a repeat of what we have already seen, and now we're all on all fours, and we go top, top, top. What's important is stability of your standing arms. You don't want them to be too bent. You want them to be nice and strong for you as you switch, and you got to keep your timing in check. Looks great. You also don't want your butt to be too high compared to your mirror. So they do a pretty good job on symmetry, which is really nice. And they take it, pop, 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 really nice. Also notice where their feet are landing on that does matter, because it'll affect the height of their booty pop or their twerk in that position. So if they have them too far in, it's going to be sitting higher than their mirror, versus if it's too far out, it's going to, it'll still hit, but it'll just be off. So they did a good job on making sure that the range of where their feet are to their hands is the same, so it feels equal on both sides, because you want that to feel balanced, which is nice. I love that. Now, everyone making their own thing. You still have my group of 3, so you have 2 people break off to join your feature, and then walking back. Does feel similar to how we saw her featured in this track earlier, which is nice. And then you have everybody else. It does feel like there was probably dancers also doing this with them in the music video, but they're still doing the same thing, but instead of facing outside, they're facing inside this time, which is fun. They come up and they hit it, boom, oh. They go, yeah, cute. She's the only one who doesn't do the arm. And I like the, hey, that's probably we're almost done. This is all full out. Good luck. We can't stop. Like, that's what it is. It just keeps building, so they're popping it. Yeah, so it goes, da-da-da-da-da, hey, ba-da-da-da-da, hey. Really nice. Then they push it, push. So it hasn't stopped yet. Da-da-da-da-da, hey, da-da-da-da-da, hey, boom, 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 boom. Still just as full as it was before. Then it goes dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee. Really nice choice. So there's still some syncopation happening. That boom, 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 whew, goodness. You gotta use your brain on this stuff. And I like how she deviates it and causes everybody to look to the side. So it's not like they're just go, go, go the whole time. There's like these random interruptions. Well, like random on your first listen, but for them it's not really random, but it's stuff that you have to catch that are not on your basic times. And that's what elevates the complexity of what they're actually doing, which is cool. And we run, here we go. And we go pop, 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 hit. Normally, I mean, in this case, because I've low-key, I've been treating them like a dance crew, I think they can go lower. I'm used to seeing all of this so freaking low. And that would just be an overall goal you would want them to strive to have. And it would showcase a bigger degree of fullness here. And because what you end up noticing is when you see like a heavy, heavy squat, that means the more energy is required to maintain the position. So the higher up you are, the less energy that you're putting in your lower body in order to make the fullness come across that way. So that's what be my general note for this section. Now, it's 2 minutes in. We're tired. I totally get the fact that we're not really dropping it super low on this. But that would just be my overall note. The music video, they really popped off. Literally. Like, it makes sense. But that's just my general note when I'm used to seeing this. Also, their range on their arms could be a little bit more refined to really help with this. But I love the swing on that, and they immediately turn it into like a low-key Humpty is what it feels like, right? And I like the pickup, da-da-da, da-da-da, that looks super fun. She brushes it through, and then we swing it, boom, and then we finish in a fun, nice finish. This definitely feels like this is how we finish everything. We're here for it. I love it. Whew, they're tired. I'm here for it though. Man, I enjoyed this. This one I didn't feel like there was as much logistically to walk through, but I kind of like that. Just like I talk about with my marathons with K-pop groups I do. I appreciate having such a vast discography and portfolio of movement because it allows us to be able to appreciate their maturity as they grow in that, how they can hold it down in complexity and in simplicity. They both bring their own challenges, and to see a group explore both is incredible, and it actually is going to draw a varied group of fans because some people are going to prefer that simple, intimate type of movement quality and others are going to prefer that hard hitting. So having a group that can do both is great. In this case here, I think we've explored different street dance styles, like I've already mentioned a couple times before, so I won't keep beating a dead horse about it. But this one was really fun. This one gives a low-key B-side energy to it. You guys let me know if this is considered the B-side of Bad Villain. I didn't really verify that before, but we're here for it. I like the vibe of it. It does give me that 2000s BET vibe, you know, like the Chang Hang Low, what is it? Not lip gloss, but like Lil Mama. It kind of gives that vibe, but also throw it in with some Pussycat Dolls. That's just what this whole track was giving, and we're here for it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to get early access to these reactions, when I take a look at a Gen 5 group, so a group that is from 2023 to now. I always early release on Patreon, but I do tend to release those into the wild a lot sooner than my marathon groups. Marathon groups would be groups that have been around pre-2020. Normally they hit around 2017, around that time. And there's a lot of material that happens with those. And so for me, there's not enough material for a Gen 5 group for me to do a marathon. So we just get to enjoy them in real time, which is awesome. But like I said, if you want to binge away at other groups that you may be a fan of, or you want to see my perspective on different aspects of dance outside of just the K-pop scene, I've looked at the competitive side of dance. I've also looked at West Coast or Western choreography, because that's where I'm based out of, or other countries and their movement qualities. I have all of that on Patreon ready for you to enjoy. So once again, my name is Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.